What's good? How you doing? Hick from French Lick.
What's going on, man?
Not much, bro. Pretty sure I got.
Man, I need to learn to trust my TA, man. Shit kills me, bro.
That's part of the game, though, is learning, and then you watch stuff play out, and it sucks to see it go without you, but at least you kind of, at least got something from it.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I wanted to play the pullback on BLZ, but it's just like BLZ's on straight like go mode. But I think that we'll get a pullback here. We got this closure above this strong high, so it did react to the breaker though. But I see us right here. If we don't make a new high here, I just see this as price. Maybe when we kind of liquidate it, but I think price is going to want to retrace here. We'll see though. I'm waiting on confirmation for this one because BLZ's been just like super strong lately for whatever reason. I mean, like look at it yesterday. Literally was not affected. Like everything was just completely tanking. I mean, it was, but
Is this another shit coin?
BLZ, yeah, Bluezo. I don't even know what it does. Let's see.
I guess a Web3.
Is it?
Yeah.
What's up, Flo?
It's good, bro. How you doing?
Honestly, I think I might have fucking COVID.
Oh God.
I'm not sure though.
I was telling you. Taste, smell, what is it?
It's just like this. I don't know. It could not be it too though, because there's some that are like just like a cold's symptoms. My girl was sick yesterday and the day before, and I woke up this morning and felt like fucking shit, just coughing a bunch. But
You never know with all the fucking strains they got coming out with nowadays, man.
right, just like fuck. I guess it's a gaming coin. Yeah, it's like Web3. Play to earn game, develop by industry veterans who've worked with Nintendo, Ubisoft, EA. That sounds like every other fucking game. How is it? It's a gaming. Okay, wait. It's a blockchain for GameFi, and then it's also for DeFi, just alone in the Cosmos ecosystem. I don't know. And decentralized
Those
storage
interesting.
for NFTs. That actually could be. Because I mean, like, hate them or love them, like NFTs are definitely like here to stay. I mean, not most of them. Most of them are going to go to zero, but I don't think the whole idea of it, is ever going to go away at this point. And this doesn't really look like the price action I'd really want to see for us to retrace heavily yet, though, unless we can kind of start to distribute over in this region. Really, at this point, let's see where Bitcoin even bounced off of. I kind of hit that shit last night and I was like, all right, I'm getting off. I just think we're going to see a little more downside before any. I mean, we have removed some liquidity for sure. We removed the sell side here. So you could look for us to maybe return up here. But I don't know. I mean, the more and more I look at this, it just looks like,
Just give me 27.9.
Yeah, exactly. Like we need like this down here. These equal lows down here. I don't think we're gonna really see much of a reversal until then. I mean, we might see the short-lived stuff, but yeah, I don't know. All these old little zones I'd drawn, but I don't think these are gonna matter much at this point. These are from way before. Yeah, I don't see a huge amount of opportunity really just yet. I mean, you could have played, I guess, last night that original, bounce, I guess, but to me, this is kind of just looking like beginning of low time frame redistribution. I don't know though. So it's gonna look odd. I think it just needs more time. I'm not really gonna rush into any setups. Like an ETH.
We're about to do some nasty range analysis tonight, my boy.
Hell yeah.
It's just so bare, man.
It's so bad. Yeah.
It's hard calling longs at these levels for anything, really.
Yeah, that's why I haven't really been interested in like because like a bunch of people were saying like we were bullish, and I was just like, where? I don't know. Maybe I'm just like fucking different fucking time zone. But I have not seen anything bullish forever. This BNB short's fucking feasted. Oh, it came down to this POI. Yeah, this actually might be. No, never mind. I thought that was. I remember marking this. I mean, we could see a little bit of a gap up here on BNB, but at the same time, this just looks like fat ass redistribution. All this right here. So you know, it did get that break of structure, you know, above its strong high. If you you plot it like that, but I don't trust it. Delete all this. So fair value gap's been filled there. Let's see what the M15 is looking like. You know, I would watch BNB for potential relief longs. I'm not really interested in them yet, but I keep my eye on them. Just depends how we react within this zone right here. So you have this nice, these relatively equal lows here, kind of inducing the early longs. Anybody who was long through here swinging, they got stopped out there. Then you have this imbalance that got filled, and then also this old demand. Not really the strongest demand though. It broke minor structure, but nothing crazy. Didn't really break. It kind of reached up to the supply and failed. If anything, you would have wanted this zone to be to hold, and already got tapped into. That's where we got this pump back up to mitigate here. So you could just be going for this sell side. I would be pretty conservative with any kind of longs at all. Like Flo said, it's kind of just hard to even look for them. But on days like this, that'd be what I'd be more looking for than just aiming to short again.
Yeah, you just need it all. I need everything to fall in place for longs.
Exactly. I need liquidity. I need double confirmation. I need to be in a nice, strong demand zone. Just gonna go down the list because everything's gonna be pretty rough. Oh, Bell fell off the fucking face of the earth. Oh, BLZ just wicked that high. This is what I want to keep an eye on because I find it hard to believe this is gonna sustain. I mean, it's just odd though. Let's see on the daily what.
Man, I'll be tired of Bitcoin destroys rune setup, man.
If what?
Bitcoin destroys rune setup.
Yeah. What were y'all looking at on Rune? I never saw you guys were talking about it.
It was monthly equal lows.
Oh yeah.
And
I
then
just popped the weekly.
mitigation of fractal demand and a daily breaker structure upside with current price.
Yeah.
Mitigated like fractal
I think I had something
reaccumulation.
because I went and charted. Was it this somewhere over here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I charted it after you guys were talking about it.
was looking at liquidity daily breaker structure upside. I was like, dude, this looks good.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Alright, yeah, that's what he was live. Oh, let me mute my.
I would still watch it around like this level personally. I mean, really where it's at. I mean, I guess it's sitting in demand that kind of broke that minor structure, but hmm. It's not looking too hot just yet. Seems like it's still engineering sell side, which could be signs of distribution. Actually, I don't know. They're kind of clearing out the lows the more I look at it. Yeah, I don't know. I like it, but I think I'd like it more down at this zone down here.
Lower,
Around,
yeah,
like
I agree.
270. Because it's like, I think that he might be able to catch some kind of movement off this, but not that
Queen, if we
amount.
sweep those lows right there too.
This right here,
We should
yeah,
do some
exactly.
demand, bro. We can get it breaking structure there. I really might have to long.
Yeah, no, I like it. Like if you can unswept these lows, filled its inefficiency, or two inefficiencies really, and then came back into this whole demand that started this whole run. I just wish it was stronger demand, like it would have got more of a break of structure. I mean, I guess it did. I mean, it broke internal structure right there, but nothing really crazy.
Yeah.
If anything, this would be just from like simple supply and demand without looking at this liquidity, which I won't do, but this would be the stronger demand zone because price came up, it reacted to this supply, pivoted and flipped that supply into demand. Well, overtook it, I should say. I don't know why people always say it flips it into demand. Like I don't look at it like that. It's like there's just new demand that overtook it.
I think it's from the actual action of the buy stops turning into sell stops when they're released into the market when they're triggered.
Yeah, no, I mean I get it, but
And
it's just because I think people get confused because then they mark the wrong zone whenever they get
they're
bought.
looking to long the top of that when it
Yeah,
flips that, and that's just completely not the.
exactly.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
But I mean, really, like this would be the zone you'd want to long from, in my opinion, but not with these lows. So
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like, man, I hope she doesn't ruin it, but we'll see.
yeah, I'm actually gonna delete everything on my chart. I hate when my charts get too fucking cluttered. Like I like
See how
having a
many
lot of
copies
TA,
of
but
layouts I make.
so you just use layouts like a lot. Like you'll make a layout and then
A copy the same exact layout and then delete everything on the copy.
yeah, I remember one time I made a layout and I had saved it to like the layout I had. I didn't realize it had like all my chart settings as something else, and I was like, wow, I just fucked myself. Like I didn't know it was gonna do like all of my change all my appearance shit and everything because it was like when I first started with TradingView, and I had to go back and change so much shit, bro. And you couldn't undo that. You might be able to now, but there was no undo button for that.
I did something similar when I first started. And that was when I was on the phone, man. That was rough.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, in my opinion, it's about impossible. I mean, it's not impossible. You just got to manually enter coordinates, but to do SMC like properly, if you're like, well, not all of it, but when you're really trying to get down to like, finite levels in specific areas, you almost gotta you have to read the open, high, low, close, like enter the coordinates. Like if you want your line, you want to set an alert.
Yeah, I used to fat finger miss entries so many times, dude.
Yeah, that shit sucks.
I would zoom in and be like, oh, I guess it was like 10 pips off.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no. This newly introduced demand. Really never got tapped into either here.
I'm interested to see what happens. We'll see the relative strength when we get that final Bitcoin and ETH pullback.
Yeah.
If she holds up nice, and I mean, probably look for longs. But if not, then always other setups.
Yeah, for sure. The only thing I see too, like we're hugging discount like a motherfucker, which is good. But the only other thing I don't like though about this other zone here is theoretically, if this fails, which it definitely is probably going to, then I would look to target these lows.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. Maybe this would be ideal. What did Gall ever do? I was looking at it last night.
I hope nothing.
It pumped like a
Oh, thank
motherfucker
God.
last night, but it dropped off. It did get a. No, it didn't get a closure. I don't know. That looks just like one fat ass lick raid to me. Maybe to come up and mitigate this candle that never got somewhere in there that never got tapped into. If I had to guess. Jesus Christ. Didn't even see an internal break of structure till all the way down here.
These ranges.
Like,
Coins are stupid, man.
yeah, that shit's insane. Then it came back up. We'd really, at this point, I'd almost like a return up somewhere probably this wick, maybe. That'd be nice. But I wouldn't count on it. You didn't really expect this demand. You kind of swept some old demand and formed, but you did form some more relatively equal lows, it looks like. Yeah. Honestly, it almost looks like a really fucked up, ugly distribution pattern. Like, I don't know, that kind of throws it off for me, but whenever I see this sell side being engineered like this. So, So I wanted to short this at some point last night, but I gave up on it after that. I was like, yeah, I'll find something else. What would I be looking at as a short entry for BLZ? I don't think the trade's there yet. Personally, what I would want to see is kind of like this over here, but be respected and like a healthy movement down. Like I want to see a new supply introduced, get like an internal break of structure. That's going to be your first signal that the trend may be shifting. Because on the 4 hour, really the 4 hour of BLZ is bullish. So when you look, we got that closure there. So yeah, I get it. It's scam pump, whatever. But I mean, I just trade technicals, so I'm not gonna question it or go against it. So the way I see it, we can try to play the pullback, and we can target weak lows below if you're using bodies to map your breaks of structure, then really technically this is going to be a weak low because it just was liquidity grabs unless we get a closure above this. But as long as we can reverse up here, you could target this low and this inefficient price action here, and maybe even this demand zone right there. So I mean, it'll still be a great opportunity, but I think it needs time to develop. So I want to see that, I want to see it start to show signs of weakness, and I really want to confirm that because I am trading a pullback, which is expected, but you have to be mindful that you're trading a pullback. And as much as everybody wants everything to just completely tank to zero and everybody's really bearish, you got to still respect the technicals and whatever it is that you do, just stay on that energy. You know what I mean? Like if you use your 4 hour to determine if something's bullish or not, well, if the 4 hour is bullish, that doesn't matter if it's a BLZ or some random shit coin. You got to respect it. So that's kind of where I'm at with that one. That's like why waves, I took most of it a little early, but it wasn't really early in my opinion. I mean, I was playing a pullback. I could have been more degen with it for sure. I still have a runner in it, but at this point, the 4-hour is bullish for me. It did start to show signs of weakness. You had the 4-hour internal structure break. Price came up to that supply, swept these highs right here. That's actually in the trade model that I'm building. I'm trying to refine it as much as possible. And with crypto, one piece of advice I can give you guys is you'll be a lot better off if you just don't even take, like, say if you're using like internal change of character, and I know for those of you who use this, this is gonna speak to you. You'll see that first change of character, and you get that break of structure, and then price never goes up to your POI, and then you get another break of structure. That's just inducement. So a lot of people will get trapped trying to trade that that second supply, and then what happens is a weak low is formed, and then comes up, takes your entry, and then dumps. And all that is just you have to incorporate liquidity into your trading model. You can't just use, I mean, you can, I guess you can just use supply and demand and market structure, I mean, for sure. But with with forex, it's a little bit easier. I mean, you still need to use liquidity, but when you're trading crypto, it's almost like max pain. Like you're just gonna have the max manipulation possible. So I want to really reinforce that you should look for liquidity raids, like excuse me, for instance, right here. Say everybody wanted to short this supply. This was everybody's POI. It should have been, in my opinion. That's the inside bar. It's at the top of the kind of like the climax. Now, it also came right after we filled a inefficiency on the 4-hour. So, price did what? It wants to sell off here. So where did the selling begin? It's going to be in either this wick or this inside bar. So notice price came up really close and formed these little relatively equal highs, but did not tap into it. So price came into this zone, and everybody was satisfied. Now everybody's like, "Fuck, I missed it." So what do? They wait for price to return, to maybe this zone, and then short it here. And they're targeting, they're going to be targeting way down here. But what happens? Price just kind of moseys around and finally just pumps up, wicks them out, and then does the move they want it to do. But that's just, inducement. You're just getting induced into your trade, and you're kind of becoming a victim to the same concepts that you're trying to capitalize off of. So that I'm near to the to the point where I'm going to require a liquidity raid. Now it doesn't have to be on the high time frames, or it just needs to be on a 15-minute, but I want to see that sweep of liquidity, and it may cause me to miss more trades. But at the end of the day, like for instance, Bitcoin yesterday, that's why I didn't take it all freaking day. What the fuck? Why does it keep doing that, bro? Why is my check fucking? Why is this freaking huge? Okay, whatever. So we had, Bitcoin right here. I'll go to a different chart. It's not marked up. So Bitcoin broke structure to the downside. We got that internal break. Actually, it was from this candle. Get that first sign of weakness. So that internal structure was taken, whether you plotted this wick or this wick. I mean, to me, this was the correct low because the candle after it made a new high. This did not sponsor such a movement. So, looking at this, what do we have up here? We have our sign of weakness with displacement. So, when displacement occurs, what is often created? That fair value gap. Now, price did kind of come into it. Didn't really get into the equilibrium of it. Just something, it's good to try to see if it gets into the equilibrium. Did not. Really, you'd like to see them filled, especially if you have a POI just above it. I think this was an inside bar on perps right here. Let's see. Yeah, that last doji was an inside bar on perps. So that was kind of where my POI was. When I see those inside bars, what that tells me is that's a low time frame range, and you can see if price came up, started to pull back, consolidate on low time, then started to move to the downside. Well, it's pretty clear that the selling occurred within that candle. So that's going to be my POI. So then price, came up right here, came down and got a second break of structure. And I was like, fuck, I missed it, dude. And a lot of people were probably trying to short this here. Got in, price kind of moved. They got excited for a second and then got wicked out just by a hair, only for price to, do a move they'd been waiting on for, all day. Now, why did that happen? It's just inducement. It's just being impatient. And not even, I shouldn't even say it like that. Maybe, it's just being aggressive, because a lot of people, they're mindful of this, but they still trade into it. But, the whole idea of, trying to trade these reversals with the concepts we're using is to try to really be as precise as possible. I think that people kind of stray away from that, but that's the idea. That's what attracts people to use smart money concepts. So, be patient, because you want to have liquidity on your side. Because, did you have all the checks here? Like, did the price come up into a supply zone? Yeah, I mean, if you drew this candle, it came to the zone. Did it come into an IPA? Kind of, not really. It didn't actually on, oh yeah, it did. I just redrawn it. It came into it a little bit on perps, but it didn't fill it. And then also left these highs. So, once you see that pattern, just be patient. And you might get left behind, but the sooner you become comfortable and familiar with the feeling of letting trades go and not caring, the better a trader you will become. And this is what really helps with developing a system. If you can develop a very strict system, like that's, okay, are we in a high time frame POI? Okay, internal change of character in the high time frames, whatever it is you're looking for, in order for you to execute. If you can, lay out a strict rule set, it'll help you not really care if you miss a trade if it doesn't meet your criteria, because after all, if that happens, then you didn't have a trade because you don't trade that price action. So it'll take the thought out of it, and you won't be like, oh shit, should I chase it? Should I chase it? Oh, you won't have those kind of issues as much. But one thing I'm really trying to focus is those liquidity rates, because you see those highs got swept right here. The fair value gap got filled. I mean, then it was okay at that point. Then my framework's ready for execution. I'll be pretty aggressive, and I'm just going to look for a 1 minute internal change of character, and then enter off the supply, which is what I did. Look how close this got to getting stopped out too. Like, isn't that shit insane? Really, if you would have used the high on Bitcoin, you would have got stopped. But I try to use it plus $1 to $1.50. If I'm on the M1, price came up. I watched. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get stopped, whatever. But it didn't. And I remember I went out and got food whenever this was happening. I looked at my phone. I was like, holy
Dude,
fuck!
I missed those shorts too.
I took them.
I was playing Fortnite with Flo, and I was like, we were both looking at it, right? We were looking at the 1 hour and the 15-minute structure, and we saw exactly like what you saw. We saw that low get taken, and we were like, is this just a lick grab, or is this an actual like show of weakness or break of structure?
Yeah.
And then yeah, Hoda was like already in off like that retest of the high, but Flo and I were waiting for more confirmation. Then we finally got confirmation off that lower high, and that's where we took entry. I'm actually in longs right now.
Nice.
We've come back down and we've tapped this demand zone 3 times now, and we've manipulated each low. So I could see this as a possible spring or just some sort of reaction, but I'm looking to take it up to equilibrium of the swing structure or optimal trade entry of the swing structure.
That'd be nice if we could get this roller coaster price action again with Bitcoin.
Yeah, I'll send you my chart, or I'll just at you.
It would be beautiful if we could get that. Is it a 5 minute you're using? Yeah.
Yeah, I was on. Yeah, I saw. Dude, that shit you taught me, bro. That internal market structure break is like starting
It's
to hit really well.
Dude, I swear it's smack. Like, look right here. I mean, bro, you could have got in early as fuck. But I mean, you got to be. The thing is with it is it's dangerous if you like the POI selection or like your your framework selection has to be really on point with it. But as long as it is, it fucking hits. Because like right here, literally the way I look at it, this is your first internal breaking structure.
Yep.
So then it's like, okay, price comes up. You know, this is a weird one for me. I guess because
It's
I mean
that
the
5 minute
demand.
black candle right there.
I mean, for me, the demand was in here because you broke it here, so the demand had to be introduced first. But oh, you mean coming back into it?
That one, yeah, right
Yeah,
there.
no, I see
That's
what
the
you're saying.
candle I went off
Yeah.
of.
So it comes back into it, and then it breaks again. This is a 15-second would help. Then it breaks, I guess immediately. But then look at that. This is the same setup I played the other day after the little crash. I mean, then it's like you literally
The one
smack
that
the
you and
bottom right
Hood
there.
played, right?
Yeah, the one me and Hood played. It was the same looking shit, bro. Like literally, here, I'll go
Yeah.
over here.
That's my POI right there.
Where is it? I think I deleted the actual TA because it was getting on my nerves, but it was like right, I think here or something. Yeah, it was this because I remember this right here was my TP. This crazy candle. I took profits
Yeah,
off
that
this
type
thing.
of that type of accumulation pattern right there. That's called a springboard accumulation. So
'Cause-
that's where you make your very like initial low, your selling climax is your low. You never make like a lower low.
How do you identify it among like other types of distribution?
No, it's
Or I
said
I
accumulation.
meant accumulation. That's my bad.
Because all the other accumulations they violate the selling climax or they'll take ST liquidity, but in springboard, basically the very first like point where you bounce is gonna be your high or your low. Like you'll see springboard distribution is the same thing but upside down. You'll only make lower highs. You'll never violate the high as you would in a normal distribution pattern. If that makes sense.
Right.
So if you flip it upside down, here you only make higher lows while inducing shorts.
Yeah. They all got cleaned right there. Or all not the shorts, but a lot of stops got taken right there. Actually, we're on a 5-minute. I forget. I really hope we start again with this. This would be fucking amazing because everything's been so fucking ass, bro. Like all this is just. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's just not. Like I want this again. All this, like we were getting there for a while. We were getting spoiled. It's just the same redistribution pattern. We have this fucking arch. I swear, bro, you could literally like that's Bitcoin. Like the algos are running this pattern right here. Gets run on the low time frames all the time, bro. Like if you look at it on the 1 hour, it'll be cleaner. I see this shit happen on low time frames. Like usually once I'm like if I'm in a trade, it kind of dumps. Like when it comes back up to like mitigate, like near my entry, like I'll see this pattern all fucking day, bro. It's that weird ass redistribution. Would this be springboard redistribution or no?
Where?
On my screen.
That right there.
I don't know. I'm just curious of what kind of redistribution this is because this is what's
springboard.
or what do you call it?
That would be a 3 drives right there.
This would be
That's an
3 drives
ICT. Yeah, that's an
right here.
ICT thing.
Yeah, the power of 3 is what it reminds me of. But I don't really with this. I mean, I just look at it like
Oh, is that the breakdown from 40,000?
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's that whole redistribution pattern.
Yeah,
And
exactly. It's just the same fucking thing over and over again. It was such free money, bro. Like when we were trading through here, this was when shit was getting crazy, bro. Like I remember we were hitting fucking bangers like every other day. And then everything got boring there for a little bit through here. Ooh. Need a nice little pump on Bitcoin.
I know, I just saw that.
Should BNB is doing. I don't know though. I almost kind of want this down here, if anything, this lower zone, just because this doesn't really look like the strongest supply zone. I mean, they're kind of front ran it with these equal lows here, but this fair value gap, it's not terrible. It's not really just a healthy kind of price action you want to see, though. I'm gonna set an alert if price comes back down into this region. Yeah, forgive me guys if I'm not super talkative today. Not sure if I have COVID, but I'm sick as fuck. I don't know what it is. Yeah, honestly, I mean, if we can get a nice reversal, like confirmed on the 15-minute, I mean, I marked the 5-minute that zone down there, similar to this 15-minute. It's really the same area. You know, I would, if I can get a return there and then that supply, or I'm sorry, demand is respected, I would look for longs. Just scalps though, like nothing crazy. We're right at equilibrium if you draw it off this high. You guys need to start playing Rust, JL.
Oh, dude, I tried to play that game fucking years ago, bro. When I was into gaming, or when I was like, yeah,
It's different now. It's
I
pretty
had
fun.
no friends, dude. I had no clue how to play that game. I didn't know that you like needed friends to play the game. I would just join a server and like try to like kill this dude and grab his gun, and like I had no idea how to like actually even make a gun.
Yeah, my boy, he's actually pretty good at it. He plays like he games. I used to play shit, but now I just never have time. And when I do have time, it's not how I want to spend it. But it's nice though. It's like if you're sitting chilling on your desk, it's nice to just kind of chill.
I've turned into such a casual gamer. I'm
Yeah,
like
same,
pretty
bro.
happy.
Yeah, I never like. That's how I am with that game. I'm not like my boy. He's like he's good as fuck at it. And he's down to like go crazy. You know what I mean? Like super try hard, but at the same time, he's not like a douchebag where he's like, you know, like has to do that.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, I'm liking B&B setup if it can return down. I want to see it form a little range because you've got these liquidity sweeps after liquidity sweep. Kind of like that. I guess. I mean, I don't know if I'd call that power of three. I do like this zone. I'm just gonna mark the whole 15-minute zone. I'm gonna set my alarm for that. Not a bad setup. I want to see price kind of come up somewhere and make a range, deviate from the top, and then just make a range and then come down, something like that. Because you do have this setup too. You have these 4-hour IPAs you can target up ahead. But it still needs to develop. It's nowhere near where it needs to be. Oh, there we go. Bills. He's going into that that daily supply zone. Was it daily or 4-hour? I think it was 4-hour. Sorry. Like not much of a crazy. I mean, there was a lot of movement after us. That's why I marked in that inside bar. Not a ton of inefficiencies like I would like. I mean, there was one right here, but I think it had gotten filled. The one thing I'll tell you guys, like, I swear, if you just leave the auto draw on and you use your tools and then you just right click when you're done instead of having to click like 10 times, it's so much better. It takes some getting used to, but it's way
Hey,
better.
can you repeat that, bro? What'd you
So
say?
like when you're drawing on your chart, see this tool over here? So stay in drawing mode. So like,
Alright, I see it.
so I can click this and I can draw a bunch of lines until I right click and it like deselects the tools. Or you can do that with everything. So if you're just really marking up charts, it makes things much easier in my opinion. Once you get
Gotcha.
used to it. Yeah, I definitely got eyes on BLZ though. I don't like that zone the more I look at it. I mean, I guess these two candles because you have that displacement after. Hit into that? No, not yet. RSR is sus. I don't think it's ready yet. You did get that internal market structure break here on the 4 hour. You did sweep this liquidity here. So this is another situation where I think we're starting to see some inducement occur. I'm actually just going to set an alert for when this high gets ran. TRX, yeah, I got you. Yeah, here, I like the setup that's developing. It's kind of like waves, but I want to see this liquidity get ran. Because, I mean, yeah, I guess you could mark this as your zone. Did this get ran here? It did. Let's take a look at that, actually. There might be something interesting. I'm not going to chase it where it's at, because we did just remove, really, that sell side that you would be targeting. First target, at least. So we saw up here. Let's change a character right there. I mean, I respected this. If this was the new introduced demand, came up, satisfied it, had that second demand that flipped that, or I'm sorry, supply that flipped that demand. And then you saw it price wicked up back into it after the break and respected it. So that would have been your entry if you were watching this. Sell side got removed here. Like the 4 hour. Because at the end of the day, I want to target this level right here. So that's going to be your weak low. Since we made a new high here, price came up. It seems like it's failing to, and you know, let's see if we've even really pulled back to equilibrium. Yeah, I don't know. Price did pull back to equilibrium, left some inefficiencies. I'll just look for signs of a reversal up here, and if you can get that and it holds, then you know, you could target this low, but I wouldn't take it much further than that. Hold on, what did someone ask? Peep algo. Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna look at TRX, and then I'll look at algo. Also, someone said, can I explain internal market structure break? Yeah, I got you. Give me 1 second. I'll do it on TRX. So, good old fucking TRX. Jesus, I got a lot of TA on here. Delete a lot of this shit. So, we came back up, swept liquidity here, came all the way back up into this wick. I mean, you know, you cannot say this demand is not, or this supply is not filled at this point. The 4 hour, we got our initial change of character right there, and this is our internal structure. I'm just going to delete a lot of this. So, when we're looking at internal structure, you know, we still remain, you know, always looking at it from the perspective that a low's job is to make a new high, and a high's job is to make a new low. So whenever we look at candles, you know, a low has to do one thing. It just has to make a high. The next candle after it has to be higher. You know, its high has to be higher. So for instance, right here, you know, why is this candle? We have a high right, or a low right here. You know, why is this candle not the low? Well, you didn't make a new high here. It's traded within this candle, so you can't be a low if you don't do your job and make a high. So then price goes up. You know, is this a high? No, because it didn't make a new low. Right, but then we have a new low right here. It's a lot more of an aggressive mapping. So, you know, we have a low, we pull back, low, and you come up here into this zone. This isn't your high, of course. This would be your high. Why would this be your high? Well, candles after it made a new low. Continuation, continuation. Oh, we got a pullback. And so then where's our next low? It's not this candle because it didn't make a new high. This candle did. So move. And then we had this pullback right here. Nothing really going on until right here. You have a new low. And then after that, you come down and take that low. So, you know, looking at it again in the 4 hour now, and remind you, this is on a 4 hour. And also keep in mind that oftentimes internal changes of character are also changes of swing structure on a lower time frame than the one you're looking on. So here, you know, if you're just marking the last candle, you know, with internal structure, some people mark the range, some people mark candles, however you mark supply and demand. But you know, this last candle, this is a pretty broad one for me, but it came up, it respected it, broke down. Now look at this. Now we have a flip because price came down. You know, we got that change of character. This is where the internal, you know, is giving us signals it might be ready to pull back. You know, pair that with supply and demand, and you might have something. So then what happens? Well, newly introduced demand comes into the marketplace here, pushes us back up into the supply zone, and then the supply overtakes that demand and breaks its low. So then you could look at this zone right here, and look what happened there. You know, it's the same thing. You got another change of character, another bearish change of character there. You know, where are we going? I don't know, maybe somewhere in this zone. You see what I mean? You can just, it's up to you how you plot your supply and demand. So with that being said, you have to use this with other confluence. You can't just trade internal structure only. That's something I want to be very clear on. But it can help you whenever you're trying to catch a reversal, because it's going to be really your first sign of weakness, or price showing that it's kind of lackluster. So here at this point, looking at TRX, I hope that explained internal structure, starving for crypto. And also Edge said, could it be possible if you explain an equilibrium concept? Yeah, of course, I got you, man. It's better. I mean, I do have a video, but I enjoy helping you guys. Like, please ask questions, because as much as I like to talk, I like to have something to give you guys that you need. So all you really need to know about equilibrium. So first of all, to plot it, we're going to use our fib retracement tool. You can have your settings like this. You just need 1, 0.5, and 0, because all you're doing is you're drawing a range, and that 0.5 is saying that's a 50% move back of that range. So if I drew a 75 or put 75 in, it's going to be 75% back. That's all it's doing, is just the retracement. That's why it's called a Fibonacci retracement tool. Now, when we look at market structure, let's just say price is doing this, right? Well, the key takeaway here is that if we're looking at, think of it like this. Think if we're looking at a product. Like, think we're looking at, we're a business, because trading is a business, and you have a product. Are you going to, want to sell that product for a discount, or are you going to want to sell it for a premium? Same goes for buying. You obviously want to buy it for a discount, and you want to sell it for a premium. So when we look at this range, we look at this 0.5 line. That's going to be your fair market value, or equilibrium. People call it midpoint, equilibrium, EQ, fair market value, whatever, fair value. That's all the same thing. So what that really means is saying that that's a, think about, like, that's a fair price to pay during this, with the standard deviation, the range we're in. That's a fair price to pay. But we're in the business of making money. We don't want to pay a fair market value. We want to buy for a discount and sell for a premium. So whenever you're trading, say if you're going to short, like say maybe you had a POI here and price came up, you're like, are you going to take it or not? I don't know. It's up to you. It depends on your trading style. But you could look at it and say, like, maybe you had another POI, up here, and that would have been better because you're in premium. So whenever you're trading, you can kind of use it as a checklist. Like, ask yourself, am I in premium or discount of the current swing? Now, you don't have to always be in premium or discount of the 4-hour price swing, but you can use this on a 15-minute or whatever, intraday time frame you use. Like, for instance, the 4-hour on Tron, really came down here, made this, was really your low. So if you came down here, didn't really clear any highs. Like, this was your swing range before, and this is ugly. This is the way I drew, because of candle. I use candle closure, so got a closure there. So that was really your range. You're still trading within your range. Technically the 4 hours still bearish until you close above this candle. So you look at Tron, like, okay, well, we're in distribution, right? Can I peep ADA? Yeah. But with Tron, you could say, okay, we're in premium, price is bearish. We're in that 4-hour supply. We're starting to see a reaction within that 4-hour supply. That sort of thing. You can look at it like that. You can also look at it on your 15-minute, your current price swing. For instance, like, really, you had, if you look at this, so I'd say that, you had a price swing here. I'm using wicks for lower time frames. That was really your break of structure. Came up, made a new structure, came down, made new structure there. So at this point, it's pretty choppy, but you drew it like, this was your old swing low. There was your change of character. I would probably say you went down to here. It's being kind of aggressive with some of these using. So that would be your swing range right here. For me, really. On the 15-minute. So, if you're looking at the 15-minute, you might say, if you're a scalper, I probably wouldn't really short from this. But say you're a scalper, I don't know. Maybe you want to, if you see a reversal here, you want to take this low. You swept these highs. You are at that kind of that time of day when you see these liquidity runs happen. Push up. Then if you wanted, you could maybe go in and scale in for an entry. But you're just using premium, on your side. But the 4-hour range, you're also in premium. So you can kind of use those together whenever you're looking to enter trades. So I said algo. I draw this out for someone yesterday. Oh well, it looks like this worked. I drew this before this happened. He said, "Watch this POI." It came up into it and definitely reversed nicely. Basically, I think I was just saying, I said not to use this zone. Set that out and use this zone. So it worked perfectly. Whoever I drew this for, I think it was a chart chat. So next POI for algo. What was you asking? You're looking for a short around 0.4? Yeah, that's what I would be looking for. Somewhere in there. Preferably like here. Like this 4082. Like I would rather use that. I mean, I'll mark the whole zone. But like I said before, I could see price coming up. Let's say price comes up almost to this zone and then does this and forms some equal highs and then dumps. But then it fails to break these lows. So those highs get taken and you go to that fair value gap fill, just like Bitcoin did yesterday. I'd be patient with it, let it develop. No need to force anything. This is another example of using premium because at this time price was right here when I drew this out. You looked at this and both of these zones I had drawn, this zone and this zone were both in premium. So you want to see how somebody could have used this zone. They said, oh, there's a supply zone, it's a flip zone. And you're not necessarily wrong, but you're looking at it in the perspective that that's you gotta understand that's in premium, or I'm sorry, that's in discount right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete all this, or at least hide it. What is the 4-hour telling us as well? Pretty clear target. Oh god, this is beautiful. Some odd price action though. And you're hugging this. I mean, this almost could be accumulation if it starts to respect this demand, but you're not really clearing any highs. It's getting just shot down. Supply still seems to be in control. You're also engineering buy side here. I'd almost look for this to get ran, maybe run into this demand over here, and then that's where you really start to maybe move to the upside if crypto doesn't just fall on its face. I actually like this. So I'd like for price to maybe come up here into that zone, change character, give us nice short entries, and you could look for longs here up to this buy side liquidity. That's kind of what I would look for there. Oops, I didn't mark that as a PDO. This is actually a nice setup. It's a 4-hour order block as well. Yeah, I would definitely watch price as it comes up into this zone. Preferably want to fill that imbalance, but no settings. Yeah, good shit on pointing that out. I'm actually going to add that to my watch list. Damn, Metal just seems fucking wants to be bullish as ever, huh? Well, this could be just one fat ass distribution schematic. Yeah, so this buy to sell. This is a good way to identify fractal supply and demand. So you see price is coming down, and I had this pullback, this wick. Bam, came up, and that selling continued. So there's a strong force came in the market, usually within these wicks, preferably the higher ones. So that's looks like we're responding to that. And then if you scale in, it's maybe not a demand zone you would always look, or a supply zone you'd always look at. But I mean, I like these kind of zones, especially this candle right here. That kind of wick. Some people call them BFI candles. You got to lick right into it. It is pretty bullish. So, you know, you'd only be shorting a pullback. It's odd price action that didn't even come into equilibrium that first time. Where it happens really fast, because like, you know, this was your internal break of structure. This came up, came back into it. There, new supplies introduced, broke through that demand, then price came back up into that. Easier viewed on like a low time frame, but let's see what it looks like on a 5-minute. I don't know if it's going to have the power to do it, but I'd like it to come back up into this zone. That's where I'd want to watch for it. I don't know about this. Just kind of ugly price action. I don't know if I'd really touch that. Snipe entry. I'll keep my eyes on XTZ. I guess somebody asked for 88 forever ago. My bad, whatever that was. You might run this high up here. Let's see what's in this zone over to the left. It seems like you reacted up that fair value gap. It seems like you tapped into the supply. I don't know, you could use that last candle as your institutional candle. I wouldn't really probably pay too much mind to that. I mean, if you get a closure here, you're going back bullish in the 15-minute. Guess you could say, actually, I mean, if you are aggressive with it, you could say right there. You can't have made that new low, pullback, new low, closure, came up and respected that newly introduced demand. And again. Gonna ran these lows. Oh, it might pay too much money. I mean, this is a flip zone here. Could get your expected pullback. And the reason it's a flip zone, for those of you who are wondering, is you had this demand, the price came back, that came into, reacted, and then that supply pushed it through it. Thing is, though, is this liquidity was swept, came up, but you failed to, maybe it just pumped up to mitigate, but you know, ideally you wanted to see this come down and take this low. In other words, you could maybe look at this as a weak high, I guess, but and that might get swept and would give you a better entry than anything up in here. Oops, not alarm. I'd keep an eye on Cardano. Looks pretty strong. Yeah, and you could expect maybe a retracement down into that zone. So this point just is like, I don't even know. I just feel like all strength has left this coin. I mean, it just doesn't really seem like anyone cares about it anymore. I know that like a lot of people swear by it and its fundamentals, like big names in crypto, but it just looks like, I mean, yeah, that could change, but it just does not look like there's much interest in this coin at this point. Let's see where its actual all-time lows are. So it's actually coming down to a zone possibly. I guess just like it kind of came back down and pulled back. I don't know. I just think it's kind of forcing it. The price does not, the chart does not look too great. I mean, you are coming back down to this. I guess you could say this was your demand, this wick, fractal wick right there, but it's kind of pushing it. Let me go to the daily and see what's over there. Yeah, I mean that's, but the only thing is you see pushed out of it and came right back into it. And I guess it's in these wicks and oftentimes when I see stuff like this, it just, I don't even want to look at the coin anymore. I just like, there's so many cryptos to trade. When you see this kind of like lackluster, just, you know, price action, it's like, unless you believe in the coin fundamentally, I mean, the chart doesn't look absolutely horrible. You know what I mean? As far as the 4 hour, you know, you're kind of hugging this discount down here. Orders might be accumulating, but you're not really respecting any newly introduced demand. It just gets cleared out. It just looks super weak. But I mean, you've cleared a ton of lows on the weekly. I guess you're back here at square one. I wouldn't probably pay too much attention to it unless I was like fundamentally interested. There's a lot of other coins to play. Like everybody thinks like that you gotta trade like crazy alts to like make money, and it's like the opposite in my opinion. You can get better risk to reward and better moves a lot of times off Ethereum and Bitcoin and majors. And the price action is going to be much cleaner and more manageable, you know, to where, because it's like, yeah, like, you know, oh, is it nice to have like, you know, 200% or 300% play? Like, that's great, but like, that doesn't mean shit to me. Like, you know, I can make more money off of a fucking 5% play than people can make off 200% because their stop loss is 30% or 20%. It's just like, that's pointless to me. Because it's like cool to have that big P&L. That's nice, I guess, but it's like I'm not really in it for, you know, what my percentage profit is. I'm more in it for like how much money I make. So a lot of times with alts, you're not going to have that opportunity to get like that high risk to reward like you will, you know, with coins that kind of respect price action and that are, you know, being traded by larger institutions. Like for instance, this trade, someone was arguing with me on Twitter last night about this. Actually, they were like saying it was stupid to use the low time frames, but so I got this trade, and that move that took like, and this is a little, you know, crazy, of course. It was like 5 hours. It was, you know, shorter than usual. At the peak, it was 34 risk to reward. So, you know, that's obviously I trimmed. You know, I mean, before then I trimmed there. But if you were to just take the full trade there, that's 34% of your funds. You know, you're not gonna be able to make that off of, you know, stop losses that are 20, 30%. But there's another coin somebody, oh yeah, AXS. Yeah, I didn't even see what you were talking. You said 18.5. Yeah, that's what you said. Yeah, I mean that's where I'd look to. In there. And they had something fundamental happen recently. It looks like they did. But almost looks like you just formed more sell side up here. So that's your 4-hour high, and there's a ton of just sell side liquidity resting up in there. I mean, theoretically though, using market structure, you know, you wouldn't really want to long from here all the way up, because at the end of the day, all these are, everything down here is just weak lows because it didn't make a new high. Yeah, I mean, it made, internal structural highs, yeah, sure, but not swing structure. So, if you were trading with the trend and you entered shorts here, you're targeting this low. So that's why it's really, really important to understand the narrative. Like, sure, could you long from there? Maybe, but don't get crazy with it. Long to supply that's on like overhead, real recent stuff. Nothing crazy. Look for those new reliefs, but you have to understand like what is the story that's going on, because you can get caught up in these little like baby moves and have your TA right. Like if you're just looking at this, this is like, from just looking over here, I'm like, oh dude, fuck yeah, this is gonna be a week high now because we didn't make a new low, and we're gonna go to the moon. We're going here. Now that could definitely happen. I see it, but you have to know that, okay, what's the high time frame story that's going on? Okay, we're in a bearish market. Okay, well, there was probably a lot of orders that had to be mitigated up here. What happened when we got up there? Look at that. You don't want to see that kind of response to supply in a bull market. So price comes up, then just retraces pretty heavily, and it doesn't look super strong because at the end of the day you can get caught up in the middle of the move that's already happening, because people that are understand market structure and are trading with the trend, they probably got in shorts up here, and where did they target? Down here. They targeted these lows, all these equal lows right here. So I'd be careful with it. I'd need double confirmation, a 15-minute, and then you'd also want to target pretty aggressively. So ideally, I'd want a liquidity rate, which I think you're going to get. I think there was already lows. Yeah, there's lows here, but I would want you to dig into it maybe a little bit, and then price come raid that again, then get that 15-minute double confirmation, and you would just be taking it to somewhere like here. Inefficiencies above. Here maybe, but at the end of the day, you look, what did this high do? It came up, broke through these lows. So it's like sort of this high or this supply, but this high you wouldn't want to target past it, because you have to build like that story around what's really happening, or you'll get caught up in the middle of it and you're just kind of like an extra. Don't be an NPC. I want to look at Ape. I haven't looked at Ape in fucking forever. It's been boring, dude. Like, it was fun to trade there for a while, not just like not really crazy moves like it used to make. That was one reason I traded it, is because it kind of respected price action, and then doesn't look terrible. It looks like you removed some of the sell side. You might be respecting whatever demands in this wick. See if there's anything left over that didn't get tapped. I mean, doesn't look that bad, honestly. I would want more confirmation before I'd look for any kind of longs, but using internal structure is pretty aggressive. It'd be this right here, and then the price came up. I mean, I'll sit it out, but I'll see how it goes. I don't think it's gonna go well. So, maybe you might want to wait for the 15-minute swing structure to shift bullish. Maybe get, I guess if you use wicks, which I'm starting to use wicks in 15 minutes, kind of dead there. Still getting used to it. Then you would look for like a retracement back down in this leg of price, preferably under 0.5. So probably this last candle, but we'll see how that plays out. Come back and watch this later. I'm just not seeing crypto chat. I said BLZ2. BLZ, we went over this a little earlier. We'll kind of retouch on it. It's basically up in this zone. Why is that doing that? It's up in this zone. We might have a short entry. We kind of filled this fair value gap, came up into this supply. Here's some fractal supply. I drew it on the 15-minute. It was started on the 4-hour. Maybe even on the daily. Yeah, we did a sell to buy, or yeah, buy to sell wicks, and then we did the 15-minute refinement down to this zone right there. There's a lot of displacement here. Maybe even, you know, I'm not going to be that crazy and require one of these, but you know, looking at this again, this candle, that big candle right there would be nice. It looks like it definitely filled in. So, you know, at this point, you know, it's pretty clear that, you know, we've got to our POI. Price is not really giving us much of signs of reversal yet. But, you know, if you could wait for a double confirmation, I'll actually watch this. If I enter, I'll let you guys know too. I won't just trade this one. Sorry about Bitcoin. A couple of you guys are probably like, damn, why didn't you signal it? I just didn't. I don't signal all the trades I take. Finding some messages. Somebody said ADA. Let's go look at it. We actually just talked about it. It looks like it's wanting to reverse in this zone. So now you'd look for price to come into this zone, then fail, or smash through this demand we created. Whatever pushes us back to that zone is the second low. So you could watch for that for maybe a little scalp opportunity, just down back to here. Because remember the 15-minute, your higher time frame. If you're using a 1 minute for execution, well, your higher time frame is your 15-minute. So if that higher time frame is still bullish, which it is, you have to trade accordingly. So you could target really just this IPA fill to be safe. So main setup, I'm gonna get off here in a second. I'm pretty fucking sick. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but yeah, keep an eye on TRX, BNB for longs from BNB. Just keep an eye on it. We need retracement first, but then BLZ for shorts. That's kind of the main ones I'd watch, and algo for shorts as well at 40 cents. So keep an eye on all those. That's kind of what I'm going to be paying attention to. But as always, I appreciate you guys. Sorry I couldn't stay on longer today. I'm gonna just lay my ass down here in a minute. I'll watch from the iPad. I need to take a COVID test. But yeah. Anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you have any questions, I'll still be on my phone and stuff. So I'll reply. Just at me, and yeah, we'll figure out whatever we can do. I appreciate it, guys.